Welcome Club. I'm Dennis Marburger, and on behalf of Chris Cummins and the other members of our club, I'd like to welcome you all to the Bloomfield Township Trustees Hall and Auditorium. We're going to have another tremendous meeting tonight, and as we always do, we have a very distinguished group of speakers. We're very honored to have Judge Michael Warren, who many of you know from his great work that he's done on the Circuit Court and with Patriot Week and his book on America's Survival Guide. And he'll be talking about the role of the Lieutenant Governor in Michigan constitutionally and what happens at the convention and for the selection process and that sort of thing. And we do have our Lieutenant Governor, Brian Calley, who's here. And as many of you know, he was a very successful and dynamic young county commissioner in Ionia County and state legislator, and a young and very dynamic lieutenant governor as well. So we're very pleased that he's with us. And our third speaker is the great Dr. Rod Steele, who is a Michigan man extraordinaire and is running for University of Michigan Regent. And you may recall that when he ran for Congress against John Dingell, he gave Dingell the toughest race that he's ever faced. And that alone, I think, is worthy of great notice. And so what we're going to do to move the meeting along, we're going to have Chris Cummins, who you all know, share some thoughts with us and introduce some of our distinguished guests.
I'm gonna make a mess of it. This.
Does that work?
First things first, as many of you may or may not know, John Irvine does a lot of the taping of our meetings and puts them up on the website, on his website for us, and I think he deserves, especially because I'm possibly the most impossible person to get to stand still and film. We got a lot of people that are here tonight. I was going to wait until after we were done with Lieutenant Governor and all the questions to acknowledge and introduce people, but some of them have to leave early. And on top of that, we have someone who's a very pleasant addition to our crowd tonight. And I told him, because of the position that he occupies, he'd come up for 1 minute and speak and say a few things, and then his wife wants him out the door. That is our Congressman, Kerry Bentivolio.
Less than 1 minute. I just want to tell you we have a really good thing going on in Washington. I introduced a bill called the Safe and Secure Federal Websites Act. I introduced it after Mike Rogers went out telling everybody how unsecure the Obamacare website is, along with a few other breaches we found in federal websites where you put in your most confidential financial and health information. We started our campaign, our marketing program in Washington around January 15th, and since January 15th, as of today, we have over 100 co-sponsors, and there's a lot of Democrats are lining up to sign on to this bill because they're running for cover. When this bill is passed, and Darrell Dyson is in Oversight and Government Reform Committee, he's the chairman, he said we're going to mark it up in March. I want it sooner because this is an emergency. People are putting their most personal information on this website, and they don't even know if it's being hacked. That's how bad the security protocols are in this website. I can't legally, as a congressman, tell you don't sign up, but there are alternatives. You can get insurance outside of .gov and some of these other things. But take a look at it. If you're not in my district, call your congressman and tell him to sign on to this bill. I'm probably a Democrat, I'm sure. But they are lining up because they're scared. I just want to tell you that. The other good thing is I just received notice that I'm the #1, what is it, GovTrack? Is that what it is? GovTrack.org says I'm the #1 congressman of the freshman class in transparency. And I think that's So we're doing the job, we're kicking butt. I was the first freshman congressman to pass 2 pieces of legislation in the first 7 months of being in office, and that's what it's about. You know, you have to have the style in class to get up there and talk to everybody, be a human being, and tell them what's really important in just the right way. Kind of like I did with my students, and a lot of them were special ed, so, you know, I qualified to do this, right? So we're being really effective. And I want to thank you for your support. I'm getting my own signatures. If any of you are in my district and haven't signed this yet, I'd really appreciate it. We got 2 of them going. Thank you very much. God bless you, Dennis and Mr. Cummins. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you.
Real quickly, would someone grab Mike Stroud and pull him into the room, please? Mike? I'd like to point out, we've got a lot of people here tonight. One of them is Mike Stroud, who is the youth chair for the Oakland County Republican Party. Thank you for joining us, Mike. In the far back, our former state representative, and who's also a candidate for the state senate, Chuck Moss is with us tonight. Thank you. Standing next to Chuck is the man who succeeded him in the state house, our own state representative, Mike McCready. Standing next to Mike is State Representative Tim Kelly. Thank you so very much for joining us. Standing next to Representative Kelly is Bill Belcher, who is in charge of the Farmington area Republicans. Bill, thank you again for putting up with us. In the far back, George Burko, who is a declared candidate for the U.S. House in the 9th Congressional District against Senator Levin. Thank you, George. The man in the red shirt, the Oakland County Republican Party Chairman, Jim Tino. Jim, thank you for joining us. Sitting next to Jim is the 9th District Chair, Greg Rhines. Greg, thank you. State Representative Brad Jacobson. And one more quick acknowledgement, Nick Kennedy, who was elected last fall to the Wixom City Council. Nick, thank you. We're going to do a number of announcements after we're finished with our question and answer with Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley, which I hope will take place around 8 o'clock. What we'd like to do right now is bring up from the Circuit Court Judge Mike Warren, who was appointed by Governor Engler first to the State Board of Education, then later to an open position on the Oakland County Circuit Court. If he's good enough for Governor Engler, he's good enough for us.